Earthlings, how are you? Zube here. I had a really nice break. I was in North Carolina with my family and all that. Anyway, this month has just been crazy. So today I'm going to ramble. I will talk about the astrology. I'll get to it in a minute because it has to do, I've just had a lot of ego stuff going on, like a lot of stories and in my personal journey, I've been exploring my shadow like in so many ways. So it was kind of cool because in North Carolina, I got to hang out with my sister Michelle, and we spent a lot of time talking. She's 10 years younger than me, and in some ways, I learned from her, she learns from me. We're like equals now. But I was describing shadow work to her, and it was just a really interesting drive home to New Jersey from North Carolina. And I was telling her, like, your shadow, but I was explaining situations where I would blame things on other people or other people would blame things on me. And if I would blame something on someone, basically, I'm going to tell you a story about it. I was complaining about somebody who is like, everything they do is the best, right? Like, and she knew who I was talking about. And so, I was like, that's them. Sure. Obviously, we all know that. Maybe that's them shoring themselves up because they don't feel the best or whatever. But, this person has the best of this and the best of that and the best ideas and just the best, right? So anyway, we were kind of talking about it on the way home and laughing. And then 2 days later, I was sitting on the couch and I was like, oh my God, Michelle. I'm like, I think I'm the best. That's why it made me so mad that somebody else always thinks they're the best. And I'm like, that's shadow work. She laughed. It was really funny. But I've been bringing my journey inside a lot. I've been having really interesting meditations. So, for example, in a meditation, I'll see somebody in my mind's eye who will just be, echoing things that have been said to me in the past or whatever, things that are mean and stuff like that. And then all like what spirit will do is while they're yelling, and I know that they're still yelling the things that they've said to me in the past, but they'll be like this spiritual translator on the person that I don't like. Let's be fucking frank, that me as a human being, I'm like, fuck that person. But in meditation, I try to at least transcend some of that. And there'll be a translator. And so when the translator will come through, what the words that will come out of the mind's eye version of the person are things like, do you love me? Nobody loves me. Do you love yourself enough to see past the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you believe what I'm saying to you right now? I'm worried that I am like this myself, and so I'm blaming you. It was really trippy. And it's been happening a lot with it. I feel like I'm going back and healing past relationships. And so, for example, in one of these meditation experiences with someone that I really have a lot of history with and a lot of emotions and a lot of examples of things that have been yelled at me, I was like, by the time it was over, my soul, like, and my human was like, oh my God, I love you. Like, I really love you. I don't care what you're saying. Like, I don't own it. I don't feel it, but I love you because I can feel what you're going through and what you're trying to experience. It was just a very, like, I had a lot of episodes of feeling anger or like past things come up or even present things come up, and they led to a lot of healing. It was fucking phenomenal. And the sun at the time, like last week, was in square to the nodes, which is in my chart. If you want a personal reading, reach out. Actually, I'll link below, but I got a new way that you can book an astrology or a tarot reading with me online. Makes the process super easy. So, but it made a lot of sense in my chart. Like, I was just healing the way that I think about people, the way I communicate with people, and the process of how I used to do things in my head and how I'm doing them now. So, just a lot of interpersonal relationship stuff. And this is going to continue, right? So, right now we have Mars in opposition to Neptune. And Mars is our warrior energy. So, and that can be for good or bad. It's our go getter, our action. It's also our a hole, the murderous rampage inner dude at whatever. And Neptune is spirituality and escape. It's hazy. It's a fog. It can be confusion. It can be indescribable. It can be deception, things being unclear, right? And when planets are opposing, we can find a balance, or it's like a seesaw, like they're pulling, and how are we going to leverage that, these two opposite one another? And that can be in a negative way. So I was thinking of another thing, right? Because Mars opposed Neptune can make Mars be warrior like in spirituality, or like very almost kind of ego like. So I was thinking of another story when I used to go to AA meetings and stuff like that. I would self-analyze anything that I shared or whatever. And one day I made fun of myself because I'm like, dude, you're like the humblest person in the room. And I knew I was making a joke because that's how my ego was like sneaking in. That's kind of spiritual bypassing, or, like when your ego gets a hold of your spirituality and starts using that to be better than other people. So, with Mars opposite Neptune, you have to be kind of careful like that, but with that, because you can be almost sort of like delusions of grandeur, right? But if we can rein that in, if we're cognizant of the fact that Mars might use our spirituality to like hit people over the head with it, it can also be feeling very energetic towards our spiritual practice or our routine, say like getting your shit together. It'd be good for a lot of internal work, or together side by side work, that you wanted to do. Convincing others how to feel, it's not good for that work. So the moon is in Cancer, and it's going to be making a really helpful aspect to this. Okay. Yeah. To the north and south node. So, like, or no. Oh, no. To Mars and Neptune. Sorry. I was talking about the north and south node before. So, the moon in Cancer is like, Cancer is like to feel like we're going to be in our feelings a little bit today. And how do we feel? Okay. Now the moon is going to be squaring Venus in Libra. Libra and Venus, that's like our relationships to other people. So there's a lot going on where, dude, just if you don't want to fucking be friends with people, don't be friends with them. Do you know what I mean? I've kind of had a lot of that too. Oh gosh, it's like story time here on the ZubeTube channel. But I was thinking about not having custody of my kids and all that. And I was thinking about my ex-husband, and I was like, oh my God, I wish, okay, this is incredibly challenging. And I always have to envision snippets of videos that I put on here ending up in a courtroom. And I'm kind of like, you could pull out pieces and make it look like something. And I give up on it a little bit, but it does cross my mind before I say things, because I love my kids and I would love to co-parent with them, but I'm not fighting in a courtroom. There's no heart in a courtroom. There's no, I'm not doing that, right? That's my Taoist thing. I'm just not doing it. But I was looking at it another way, and my relationship with my kids is beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. And I'm really authentic and sincere in the process. Here's the deal. My kids don't have to like me, and neither do yours. If you have kids, nobody has to like you. But like, growing up, one of my main things was like people pleasing and wanting everybody to like me. So that I was like afraid to get a B, or to do the wrong thing. And so then I would like try to hide things that I did wrong. And it just goes on and on and on, you know. Um, it's crazy, but there are a lot of perfectionists who end up becoming alcoholics, even though that's like a major fuck up, but whatever. Um, but I got to this really incredible place where I was like, holy shit. I was like, I love you, my ex-husband, who like has the kids, and to my mind kind of is making the process of me getting them more difficult, because I'm at a standoff with court and he won't budge without court. And so it is what it is, you know. But I was like, because because my kids don't have to like me and they know it, our relationship feels that much more sincere, right? And then this spouts off to other areas of my life. Like, if I hang out with you or spend time with you, or, you know, do anything with you, I really want to, because my kids don't have to like me. So you don't have to like me. You know what I mean? So I've gotten to this place where I feel pretty comfortable, and I'm getting more comfortable. You know, I am still that inherent people pleaser, but I have the thing with my kids to always step back and go, you know what, like, my kids don't like me, don't have to like me. And I have to be okay with that, because I have very little control over what they're told about me, or anything like that. Like, I have had to let go, because I was completely stressing out a few years ago. Like, what are they being told about me? What are they hearing? But I can only be who I am. That's all I can control, you know. But when I have beef with somebody, or something's bothering me, and I don't know whether I should say it or not, I'm like, I don't even have control over whether my kids like me or not. So like, I'm sorry, but this relationship doesn't compare to that. So I actually don't, I can still love them. And I would always love my kids, even if they didn't like me. I would always love them. I'm their mom. It's just that that's their freedom, you know. And how many relationships do we have where it's because we feel like obligated to be a certain way? parent child, even into adulthood, you know, relatives and friends, and well, I'm just friends with them because I've always been friends with them, or whatever. Like, what if we freed each other from that? That's what I've been doing, and it's really fucking cool. And it doesn't have to be like a breakup or a I hate you or any of that bullshit, but it's just like, if words come out of my mouth and somebody doesn't like them, or if I do something that somebody doesn't like, that's okay. They don't have to like it. So, and that's what that moon square Venus kind of makes me think of is, you know, the moon is our emotions, Venus is our relationships, our desires, and in Libra specifically, Venus is at home in Libra. Libra is about partnerships and connecting with others. So in this process of, who do you have to convince to be your friend? Like, who's putting obligations on you? Because Venus is also going to square Pluto coming up here, and Pluto is going to ask that very question: who controls you, or who do you think you control? So look for that over the next week, like areas where you might be like a spiritual braggart, you know, or a pompous a-hole that's like the humblest person in the room, and where can you redirect that energy to make it go into your internal process? I always fucking look at me. I don't care what people tell me. I might in the moment, I might have an emotional reaction, but when it comes down to it, and I sit down and it's me and God, or me and Larry, or me and the universe, I'm like, why did that bother me? Like, where do I believe that? And what do I need to do to correct that belief or to work with? Anyway, everything always comes back to me, because in here is where I can affect change. So over the next week or so, there may be some people or relationships that fall away. And that's okay, right? That's okay. You might have some dust ups or whatever, but I'd like to share with you that I find it very valuable that when things happen that bother me, I used to obsess over them, right? About how wrong and bad and awful that other person was. But try something new, or maybe it's not new for you, but if you've never tried this, I always go back after stuff like that now and I re-examine me. And sometimes I'm like, I was not in the right, you know. Do I need to make an amend, or do I need to say something, or do I not? Do I just let it go? Did it happen for both of us to have a learning experience? It's all in here. It's all in here. If you get happy in here, you're going to be all right. And I think there's going to be a lot of that in this week coming up. I'm going to pull a card. Let's see. What day is it? Oh yeah, September 1st. Happy September. Yeah. Judgment. But turn on the light bulb. This is finding your inner light. That's what just came. Are you judging people? Are you in fear of being judged? Be discerning, you know, who Are you looking outside of yourself for validation? Or are you looking to your connection with your higher self, with the universe, with spirit? Let me pull out advice. Yeah. The Six of Swords. The swords, that's air energy. So that's our thoughts, words, communication. And the Six of Swords is about leaving a painful situation behind or leaving pain behind, but we're still kind of going through the, it's not like heading right into a party. You know, there's like a quiet time and a process. And what I would encourage with the Six of Swords is to not dwell on the past, but because the swords are thoughts, explore during some quiet time the way that you think and recollect things from the past. Let me do one of these. Choose wisely. Be discerning. You don't have to keep everything in your net. Yeah. I'll get more into the astrology upcoming, but September is going to get increasingly difficult. And then on into the winter. So the choices that we're making right now have a lot to do with who we are going to spend our time with, who we are relating to. And that includes your higher self and spirit. So choose what you do wisely with over the next few days or the next week or so, and you'll be seeing more of me. I missed doing these actually, but I had a very, very active time away from you all. Anyway, I hope you have a great day on Earth. Thank you for stopping by. Peace. Namaste.